Hey friends, Danielle here, and welcome to another episode of the Spa Marketing Made Easy podcast. And in this episode, we are talking about all things retail. And this is a super important deep dive in a huge part of our business. I think we can all agree that using good home care is going to help your clients get better results. Now, did you also know that retail sales are directly correlated with frequency of visit for spa clients, meaning the more retail items that your clients purchase, the higher the likelihood they're going to come back for another visit with you. Plus, having the support of a product rep at your events, also for training your team, for encouraging contests for retail sales, is such a game changer, not only in having the additional support to train your team, but also in the revenue coming in to your business. So I wanted to take the time for this episode to go over some principles of retail, some metrics that we're going to look at, how many lines you should carry, private label versus a recognized brand, and also give you some guidance on how to do some digging to understand where you actually stand with retail in your business. Are you doing well? Do you have areas of opportunity where you can improve? So let's go ahead and do this review together now. So first, let's talk about the number of lines that you should actually be carrying. And I'll just start right off the bat and say that, in my opinion, it should be anywhere between 1 to 3 lines. Okay. So typically 2 is kind of the magical number, but what we're looking at is one line that, if you're doing, depending on your specialties, so you may specialize in acne and anti-aging. And while there's a lot of overlap, you may be carrying a line like Face Reality if you're using their protocols, and then have a separate anti-aging line that you're having them on after, or you want to supplement. Now, one of the things about the skincare lines, whatever line you choose, each one of them has something that is their star player, that's their kind of claim to fame, their product that everybody knows about, that the line is really built around. If we're looking at physician dispensed skincare, you think about SkinCeuticals, what's the first product you think of? CE Ferulic. So that line was really founded around their vitamin C serum, and their serums are phenomenal. When we think about Skin Medica, you think about their TNS Essential Serum. They're known for their growth factors, right? So they built their line around that is their star player. Pretty much every line has something along those lines where they have a star player, and then they are kind of expanding from there. So depending on your niche, the needs of your client, the price point of the line, etc., I would choose anywhere between 1 to 3 to really dive in to make sure that you're serving your clients. It's going to be challenging to market, to brand, to build kind of your level in the company and the partnership if you have 5 or 6 different lines that you're just ordering a small amount of things from. So really keep that in mind as you're choosing. The next question might be private label versus a brand. Now, 99% of the time when you go private label, you're going to have a much higher profit margin. But what don't you have? You don't typically, sometimes you do, but most of the time you're not going to have a dedicated rep. You're not going to have the brand awareness. You're not going to have all of the same marketing materials. So you have to keep those things in mind. Packaging can also be different. A lot of times what we're doing with private label is kind of picking and choosing. If we have our own line, we're pulling this serum from this private label, this serum from this private label, and the packaging it's not always consistent. So there's pros and cons, and you really have to look at what makes the most sense for the direction of my business, for what I'm focusing on. I always love mixing in private label where you can, obviously because of the profit margin, but If you don't have the bandwidth to properly market or use the right packaging or get the education for your team around those ingredients or around what makes that line successful, it may be a better choice to go with the brand. So, or an already known brand. It's going to be a unique decision for your practice and what you're wanting to accomplish. Okay. The metrics that we're looking at for retail, there's obviously retail to service percentage. And that is, we talk about this quite a bit, but with retail to service, what we care about is if someone comes in, if someone does $1,000 worth of services in a day and they sell $500 worth of retail products, their retail to service is 50%. If you are in a non-medical environment, 50% is the service percentage that you're looking for. If you are in a medical environment, 30% is the metric that you're looking for. Now, keep in mind, these are just benchmarks. These are not set in stone. It's obviously going to be different if you're a wax studio where you're not necessarily talking about skincare all of the time, right? So keep those in mind as metrics that you're shooting for, as benchmarks that you're shooting for, but maybe something a little bit different. Okay. The next metric that we're going to be looking at is client purchase percentage. This is specifically in relation to retail. So we want our retail to service. We're going to use that same example of, if you do $1,000 worth of services in a day, you sell $500 worth of retail, then you have a 50% retail to service. But what if you saw 5 clients and only one purchased, but one did that great big $500 purchase? If you're not tracking client purchase percentage, some of the results could be skewed. So again, we are looking at retail to service to make sure that that number is there, but then also client purchase percentage, because if we only had one person purchase and 4 not, that's a big area of opportunity as to where we could be increasing our retail as well. All right. Next, I want to get into client behavior. And this is just really interesting to review, especially if you have a team and looking at the difference for your providers of, are they making the sale initially? Like, are they getting them? Are they having the client purchase the entire home care regimen, but then they're not repurchasing? How many people are just kind of one-time buying and then not repurchasing after that? And do you have certain providers that are having their clients repurchase while others are not? So this might be an indicator of needing additional touch points on that client's journey, is we all have clients who come in quarterly, right? We obviously want all of our clients to come in on a monthly basis, but that's not always the case. So if someone purchases from you, how easy are we making it for them to repurchase? Are we reaching out at that 6 to 8 week mark? Do we offer free or low cost shipping? What are we doing to make it as easy as possible to support the needs of our clients, right? So keep a look at that. And I would definitely be tracking, what is the repurchase rate? And if you have a really low where they're purchasing once but not repurchasing, what touch points can you implement? How can you ensure that your estheticians or your providers are actually following up with those individuals? And again, make it as easy as possible for them to repurchase products from you. All right. Now, once you've gone through and done that and really looked at, okay, is our retail, do we have the right amount of lines? Are there any SKUs that we need to get rid of? What are our actual metrics? Where are we trending at for the year? Does that need improvement? And if so, then how are you going to train and develop your team to actually increase those metrics? Because again, when retail numbers go up, so do service sales. It's a really, really important part of your business. So estheticians typically don't sell for 3 reasons. 1, they don't believe in the line. And so if they don't believe in the line, if they don't think the products are great, they're not going to recommend them to their clients. Plain and simple. We don't sell what we don't believe in. So maybe they're not educated on the line. Maybe they don't believe on the line. Those are two different things. If you don't know what the line is, you can't sell it. If you don't believe in the line, you're not going to recommend it to your clients. Okay. Those are still two different things, because if you're not educated on it, it's simply providing the proper education. What does this product do? Have I been able to experience it for myself? Do I see great results with my clients? Am I getting great feedback, right? That all feeds into wanting to spread the positivity, want to share. Oh my gosh, yes, I love this product. It felt so good on my skin. My eyes felt so hydrated, or that line in my forehead looked so much softer. Whatever it is, sharing the personal experience or the feedback that your clients are getting is going to be such a confident booster to help your provider actually want to recommend those products to their clients. So education is essential. And you'll notice too, if you have a rep that comes in and does a lunch and learn, then those products almost always for the next week following, the product sales go up. It's because that education piece, that product line is top of mind. So how can you incorporate education every single week into different products, what they're about, what they're doing, some selling points, etc. Okay. If they don't believe in the line, then you need to understand why and either educate them or, listen to your team. If the entire team really is just not a fan of the line, then maybe you should consider bringing something else in. It's worth the conversation. Now, there's always going to be, different skincare philosophies. Some people love this line. Some people don't love this line. But it's always important to hear the expertise from your team. But ultimately, you as the spa owner, as the spa CEO, are making that final decision. And last but not least, and this is most commonly what it is that the esthetician or provider has a personal block around sales or money. They're worried about sounding salesy. They're worried about the cost of the product. And that is going to take some mindset work. So much in sales is all around mindset. We need to come with the approach that sales is a form of service. When we are making the recommendations, the home care recommendations to our clients, tell your providers to make the same recommendation that they would make to their best friend or their mom based on what is truly the best thing for them. Don't think about price. Think about, for them to reach their skincare goals, what is the best home care regimen for them, right? People will find money to do something that they love. So it's a really, really important thing that we are honoring and serving our clients by providing our highest level of education, our highest level of recommendation, and let them decide whether that price is worth it for them or not. Our job is just to make the recommendation of what is truly going to be the best for their skin. Now, if you understand what is the actual block among your team, I found that it works best to meet with each provider individually throughout the week and coach them on what their specific area is. If one provider needs education, then do 15-minute coaching sessions once a week where you can just educate them on a particular product in that line. If they don't believe in the line, take that 15 minutes that week and talk through with them what is it that they dislike or don't believe in with that particular line. Hear their concerns and have conversation about, what do they need to believe in the line? What piece of information? Maybe they heard something wrong, or, you get information from them specifically why they're not a fan of that line. And if it's around money blocks or sales, then have conversations with them about that piece of selling from a service place. Perhaps give them, there's so many books, podcasts, different things about your money mindset. You Are a Badass at Making Money by Jen Sincero is a great book. for money mindset. There's just a lot of other resources out there as well. Find an author that aligns with you, but maybe read that together as a team and really have some personal growth and team development that can also ultimately help your business. So I hope that you enjoyed this episode. I hope that this helps with retail in, wrapping up 2022, moving into 2023, all that you are doing in your business. And I will catch you on the next episode.